Okay, on this one, I'm gonna show the install of a fender on a 2014 Ford Expedition. It should be the same from 07 to 14 for this one. 15, 16, 17 should be pretty similar, I would bet. But I know the headlights and some stuff changed in the front, so I'll just say 07 to 14. Like, I'm putting this 07 fender on a 14 model. So basically, you have to remove the headlight. There's going to be one screw right here that connects right down here. You got to take these two out of that trim piece right above here to disconnect it from that. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 on top, the chassis area. All right, this one right here is under this part. You will only be able to access it if you get this loose and can reach under there. And then on the side of the body, or the side right here, there's only 2. 1 and 2. And if your fender's never been off before, there'll be a bunch of like stuff right here that basically runs the whole length and it touches the fender. See how the paint line stops right there? I think that was like some kind of water coating or something, so that water barrier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's 2 underneath. All right. And these are all just for the fender. There's a couple things for the inner fender, the wheel well cover, that you have to take that off first though, because it blocks a couple of these bolts. Like those 2 at the bottom are blocked by the wheel well. These 2, there's 2 right here. Those connect to the wheel well cover, but not the fender itself, but they still need to come out. And it's not too bad. It's the hardest part. It's like a very small, a lot of the inner fender stuff is a very small bolt. It's like a 7 mil. But overall, I don't know, it'd be hard to do manifold gaskets on this thing. It seems like there's even less space than a Chevy Duramax truck to do gaskets. But yeah, so once it's off, it looks simple. However, getting everything off, it takes a few minutes of your time for sure. All right, so I just came to the realization that the paint in 2014 was a metal flake. You can see here, that's not dirt, that is a metal flake in the paint that you can see, and it matches. Well, granted, it is dirty, but let's wipe it down. Look at that. So there's a metal flake on both, and apparently the one I got from 2007, it is gloss black. So that kind of sucks. So once this is in the sun, it's going to be pretty noticeable that there is metal flake, no flake. I guess if I wanted to repaint the whole thing black or wrap it, if I wrapped it, it'd be fine. If I could wrap it a different color. But the funny thing is, I got, see how there's a different shade here too? The shade is, and I don't think it's from fade. I think it actually is a different shade. But the funny thing is, the front bumper I found matches this. So it's gonna look kind of weird. I have a bumper and a fender that match, and the whole rest of the car is gonna be a slightly darker tan. I'm not even worried about that. That's easy to replace. The metal flake fender is what I'm kind of disappointed in. I wish I had found one off of 14 or whatever years had the metal flake, because that does not have it in there. But anyway, look at my gaps. I think I did pretty good. So if we go here. Remember, the middle point is like the key point where it pushes in the most. And boom. So what had happened was, see the dent here? I beat that back out with a hammer, a rubber mallet hammer with a sledge on the other end of the rubber mallet to try to save the paint. And I saved the paint, however, it's still a little bendy. Anyway, during the wreck, it pushed this fender back. It shortened the gap so that the door couldn't open. And when the body shop looked at it, they opened the door to get the VIN tag, and they just bent this part of the door. So I had to, and I'm really glad that I lined it up just right. It's still a little dented, you could kind of see. But like I said, this is an 10-year-old car now at this point. Already over 200,000 on it. And we just need it to look assembled and run and drive just fine, which what I'm doing here will achieve that goal. So this gap looks a little bit bigger down here than the other side, but not much bigger. They're both sides are definitely a little bit smaller of a gap on top, and they're a little bit bigger at the bottom. But unless you're the owner of the car like I am, you're probably not going to notice that, because you got to look at both sides. So yeah, so what I did was basically this thing, I wonder if this is pushed back just a hair, because I really had to get this in there. And what I did was I threw my hip into this as I tightened that. And then I also threw I was pulling forward on this to get my gap right, because if I wasn't, the way this mounts, it was pushing it too far back. So I pulled this back as far as I can, and then I had somebody nail one. I just nailed down a couple of these first ones to get them snug, and then I was able to do the rest. Then I did these bottom ones first down here, and then I did the two in the back. You see, there's one, and that I think that was the other one right there, right about there. And that was the other one. Yep. And you gotta throw your little foam piece that came in there. Like, this is just a removable foam piece. I'm not sure what the purpose of that is, but as you can see, like all that foam there, that covered the whole gap originally on the original Fender. All right, so yeah, this Fender's back on. It's actually, what do you guys think about this, the hood gap? It's straight. It's a little bit bigger than the other side. Once again though, I don't know if anybody's gonna notice that extra 1/4 inch. I don't think even I will when I put the headlight back on. It's so minor. And this also could just be a hood adjustment. Maybe I could just shift the whole hood under the 2 hood latches, shift them over just a tad. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave it as is, because I'm fairly confident it's gonna work and shut and everything's gonna fit just fine. So next up, I'm just gonna grab a couple more of these inside pieces for the bumper, and then I can put everything back together. Thanks for watching this video. This is a 2014 Ford Expedition front fender install. However, now that you've seen how it's installed, you know where to go for boat locations to take it out. And also keep in mind, if you're shopping for black, the older ones are gloss. So that's funny, my hood is from this same 07. These 2 parts came from the same. So I'm gonna have a gloss black hood, gloss black left fender. Man, I don't know why they keep... This needs painted anyway. Maybe I'll paint it. This is the only disappointment with this hood that I found. It's that I'm gonna try to buff it, but I think it's a little bit beyond buffing. I think it's just extra 2 or 3 years past buffing. But once again, it'll be back together. It'll look like a complete car. So there it is. Thanks for watching.